Cape Cod woman with autism turns mask holder creations into online business. Bead by bead and stitch by stitch, Elena Coln is making a nice nest egg for herself, selling crochet and beaded items on Etsy and at several Cape Cod stores. Well, sounds to me like somebody knows a thing or two about the market. I'm Steven from Tostemac, and welcome to the Tostemac Autism News, where we cover the latest news involving autism. Today's news takes us to Cape Cod in Massachusetts, where 23-year-old Elena Coln has found a creative way to help out her community and make a nice hefty profit in the process. How so, you may ask? By creating face mask holders. If you ever get tired of leaving a face mask in a public bathroom, Lord knows I've done it before, or maybe you just get tired of stuffing it in your pocket only to uncrinkle it later, or maybe you left your face mask in the car and a few steps later you realize, oh wait, I need to wear my face mask. This face mask holder solves all of those problems, and from what I understand according to the news, you can actually request to have them customized for you too. Very nice. It's fashionable and it's functional. Now mind you, she's not alone in this endeavor. She has help from a couple friends, like Dr. Kristen Mulcahy, and if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. She is a clinical director at Cape Cognitive Behavioral Institute. She says, Elena is amazing at just coming up with these creative ideas, kind of based on what's trending and what's needed. That alone tells me a lot. That tells me that not only is Elena good with crafting new projects, but she knows a thing or two about the business side of selling your products. And that's big because there are a lot of social factors involving business and selling your products. Like, I remember a couple people telling me that, oh, I want to make my own book, but I think making the book's the hardest part. Trust me, it's not. The hardest part is getting it out there and promoting it. There are a lot of social factors and a lot of details involving business that I would have to make an entirely separate video explaining all that. Possible foreshadowing? But I digress. The other person helping out is Maura Wright, a speech and language pathologist at the Riverview School in East Sandwich. She says that she said Coln mentioned she needed some new products to sell on Etsy. Boom! COVID silver lining, Wright said. My kids were getting ready to go back to school, and I had previously seen face mask holders as a new thing. I wanted to get some for my kids and instantly thought of Elena. When she was at Riverview, she was always making beaded bracelets and necklaces for staff. I thought she could just make them longer and call them a mask holder. I spoke with my colleagues at Riverview before pitching the idea to Elena to make sure there would be enough people to buy them so that it was worth her while. Well, one mention of a new Elena product got everyone excited, and I was able to get her about 10 orders right off the bat. So, essentially, there was one person who was teaching Elena about the business aspect, whereas the other one not only gave the idea for the product, but also promoted the item to potential customers. It's very nice to have connections. Now, it's one thing to be able to sell it on your own, but if you're able to sell it on Etsy and in local boutique stores, then you got something going, because there are actually some places in Cape Cod that are actually selling her products right now. Like, Coln has sewn her crafts at Fox and Kit Children's Boutique in Mashpee Commons, 1856 Country Shore in Centerville, and parcels at the Liberty Tree Mall, a store started by the Northeast Arc. Most impressively is that Body Armor Outlet, a company in New Hampshire that sells personal protective equipment, PPE, gear and uniforms to first responders, has ordered 100 mask holders. Think about that for a minute. A personal protective equipment organization like Body Armor Outlet, all the way from New Hampshire, has requested from this autistic individual that they want 100 of her products. That is huge, like amazingly huge. So there are two main things that really impressed me about this story. One of which is the social aspect, that she really understands the business side. As I said before, there are a lot of social factors and other business details that go into selling your product. So the fact that she's able to sell the product online, still make a profit, and make a deal with local stores, that takes a lot, because especially if you're doing in-store sales, what that usually involves is you gotta do research on the place, you gotta contact the manager and figure out which person to talk to about this, maybe the managers themselves, or maybe someone in charge of the inventory and merchandise, and kind of sit down with them in person, kind of like a job interview. Tell them who you are, why you created this, and why they should sell your product at their stores. Assuming things go well, you can take the next step and create some sort of price margin, if you will, where you sell your product to the store at a certain price and they are allowed to sell it for double or a little more than double to make sure they make a profit too. Because if they can't make a profit on this product, they're not gonna invest in it. It's cold, but that's how business works. But Elena is able to pull it off where local stores and a location in New Hampshire wants her product. That's more power to her. That's amazing. The other thing that impressed me is the finance part. The fact that she's making a lot of money from this. To put this into perspective, let's crack some numbers in. So let's say on average, a box of beads cost around let's say $20, okay? And this is kind of lowballing it. And then you would need 100 feet of the paracord lanyard that you would need for the face mask holder. Let's say 100 feet of that was like $8.99, not including shipping and handling. Then you would need the keychain ends to clip the face mask holder together. 100 pieces of those, or a pack of 100, would probably be like, let's highball it and say $9.99 for 100. So if you put all this together, you're looking at a material cost of $38.98. This is the material cost, assuming I'm not missing anything. Now let's take a look at some of the online prices on Etsy. I'll leave a link to the website in the description down below. That way you can get some face mask holders of your own to help her out in her project. Now from what I'm seeing, some of the face mask holders cost about $12 and $8 respectively. I'm going to guess that if she was selling it in person, let's say at a school or at an event, that the prices for these would be about $6 and $4 respectively. The reason I say that is because when you're selling a product online, you have to take into account other fees like shipping and handling, and whether or not the online site charges a fee for you selling their products on their site. Now, each site varies. I don't know all the details of every single site, so it's important to read that stuff. That way you know what you're gonna have to pay for and change the price of your product accordingly. If you're able to accommodate for whatever charges you would have to pay and set the price reasonably, you can still make a profit and not lose too much money when you have to deliver the product to the customer. Now, assuming that my calculations are correct and that Elena is getting a $6 or $4 profit from each sale of these face mask holders, we're looking at, let's see, if she were to sell 50 of them, she would be getting about $300 to $200 respectively for these face mask holders. That more than makes up for the $38.98 material cost. So not only has she made back the money used to make these materials, but now she's making a profit to either get more materials or invest in other things as well. Now, this is the online part. Let's talk about the in-store sales, because that's another matter entirely. Because once you talk to the appropriate person, give them the sales pitch, and they arrange the price margins, remember, you might sell it to the store at a certain price, and then the store will want to sell it at maybe double or more than double to make sure they make a profit. Let's say Elena sells these face mask holders to the store for about $5 a piece. Sounds reasonable. Then the store is allowed to sell the product at $12 or $13 to cover any shipping and handling fees, to make sure they make back the money they just gave to Elena and make some profit of their own. Going back to the calculations, assuming that they sell 50 of these face mask holders, Elena would make $250 for her part of the deal, and then the store would make $600 to $650, assuming that they sold 50 face mask holders. So again, they're making back the money they invested, and they're gaining some more later on as these sales continue to grow. Both Elena and the store are making a profit. So this is very impressive. It shows that she's created something that people need, that people want, and that she is making so much money off of this. It's really incredible, inspiring even. Now, there are a couple things that she might need to look out for. And it's not too serious, but it is something that she'll need to consider. One of which is taxes. From my personal experience, if you're doing a business like this where you are making profit off of freelance work, and this could technically count as freelance work, you would have to file a certain tax form like a 1099, where if you make above a certain amount, let's say 600, then you would have to pay a certain percentage of that back to the IRS. So one thing that you'll need to consider in that case is keeping track how much profit you're making. If it's above 600, what is the percentage that you need to pay back next year when you're filing your taxes? So that's something very important to remember. And the other important thing to remember is that the pandemic isn't going to last forever. Hopefully not. I'd really like to go out and dine in on a restaurant again. So once the pandemic is over, then a lot of people will no longer see the point in wearing face masks. Maybe some people here and there will still wear it. Like, I actually got a face mask that I really like and I really don't want to throw away, so maybe I'll wear it every now and then. But that's a very few or very small number of people who will probably still wear it after the pandemic. So when that time comes, there's not going to be that many sales for the face mask holders anymore. And when that comes, it'll be time to come up with a new idea or a new project to sell to the audience that they need and are willing to pay money for. Though those are the things that Elena will probably want to look out for, but honestly, with her success, I don't think she needs to worry about that too much. But what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Have you had experience in this line of work before? Let us know in the comments section below and let's have a conversation here. And on that note, it's time to end the video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Tostemac to stay up to date in our latest videos. And until the next one, see you later.